Hello, it's Lucy, and today I'm going to be talking about how to ask for college transfer letter recommendations. I'm going to be going over how to approach the question, what you should do after they have said yes, what you should do if they have not submitted and it's getting close to the deadline, and I'm going to be reading off some of the exact emails that I sent to my professors. So let's get started. When you are asking for a letter of recommendation, you want to try to meet in person with your professor. Obviously, if you're studying remotely and this isn't possible, then it's totally okay. But if you do have the opportunity to meet with your professor in person, I would highly recommend it because it shows you went out of your way to meet with them in person and it makes it more personal. Some of the ways that you can do this is by staying after class and talking to your professor or going to office hours. However, if it's usually really busy after class because a lot of students have questions or if office hours are crowded, it might be better to schedule a meeting with your professor. You can just say, hey, I want to talk to you about something. Could we schedule a time to meet outside of class? Once you're meeting with your professor, you want to start off with a friendly conversation. You can talk about what you enjoy about the class or perhaps how you've contributed to the class, just so you can get their mind kind of rolling. Then you should talk to them about your situation. Tell them that you're transferring to other schools, mention any deadlines that you may have, and then ask them if they would be able to write you a strong letter of recommendation. If you have built up a strong relationship with your professor, most likely they will say yes, but in the slight chance that they say no, just say thank you for your time and then you can end the conversation there. However, if they do say yes, you can start talking to them a little bit more about why you're transferring, where you're transferring to, and what you're planning on majoring in. You want to make sure when you're talking to them that you don't put down your current school because obviously that leaves a bad impression, but you just want to be open and honest about your situation. Professors will write a more personal and specific letter of recommendation if they know more about you and your cause. So you want to make them feel like they're going on this journey with you. You want them to root for you because if they're passionate about what you're passionate about, that passion will carry through in their letter of recommendation. Lastly, you want to leave room for them to ask you questions at the end. And you also want to tell them that you'll send them a follow-up email detailing how they can submit the letter of recommendation and reminding them of the different deadlines so that they don't have to remember it themselves. And then you also just want to thank them for their time. Tell them that you really appreciate this and it means a lot to you. I'm going to read out the exact follow-up email that I sent to my professor after I spoke with them. Keep in mind, I'm going to leave out their name just for privacy reasons. Dear Professor, I hope that you have been having a safe and restful break. Thank you again for agreeing to write a letter of recommendation for me. As you know, I am applying to transfer to Northwestern University for personal and academic reasons. I plan on studying computer science and public health if accepted to Northwestern. You should receive an email from Common App requesting that you complete and submit a letter of recommendation on my behalf. The deadline to complete the recommendation is March 15th, 2021. I plan on finishing my application before Cornell's second semester begins, so it would be awesome if you could complete it before then. If you could let me know when you submit your recommendation, I would greatly appreciate it. I've attached my resume to this email. Feel free to use it as a resource. Please let me know if you have any questions or concerns. Sincerely, Lucy. So as you can see, I started off by thanking them for agreeing to write me a letter of recommendation. I went into a little bit more about why I was transferring, and then I reminded them about the deadlines and how to submit the actual letter of recommendation. I also provide my resume as a resource. I think that's something nice so that they can look at it. Some professors won't even look at your resume because they feel that they have enough information about you to write a strong letter of recommendation. However, it's still nice to offer. Once your professor has submitted their letter of recommendation on the Common App should notify you by email telling you that their letter of recommendation has been submitted. If it's a week or two before the deadline and your professor still hasn't submitted a letter of recommendation, it's okay to send them a follow-up email. When you are sending a follow-up, make sure to send it on the same email thread as you used in your first email so that all the information is right in front of them. So here is exactly how I wrote because this situation actually happened to me. Hi, Professor. I'm following up on my letter of recommendation to transfer to Northwestern University. I sent you a request for the recommendation through the Common App that you should have received by this time. If you have not received it, please let me know and I can send it again. The deadline for application materials is March 15th, so it is quickly approaching. If you could please let me know if you can complete it by then, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you, and I look forward to hearing from you. Best, Lucy. You want to make sure that you're not pesty and that you're not annoying your professor, but I think that one follow-up email is more than reasonable, and they should be able to get it in by the deadline. Most professors understand, and they have had students ask for transfer application or transfer letter of recommendations in the past, so it shouldn't be a problem. However, I do think that if you have two professors in mind that you would like to ask for a letter of recommendation from, you should ask both of them, just in the case that one of the professors isn't able to submit their letter of recommendation on time. Hopefully everything goes smoothly, and if you fast forward a few months and you do wind up getting accepted to any of the schools that you transferred to, you definitely want to let your professors know. Like, send them a follow-up email saying, "Thank you so much, I wound up getting accepted to this school, and I really appreciate your time and your effort." This is the exact letter that I sent to my professor after I was accepted to Northwestern University. Dear Professor, thank you for writing a letter of recommendation in regards to my transfer application. I recently found out that I was accepted to Northwestern University and I plan on accepting the offer. Although it is hard to say goodbye to Cornell and all of the wonderful people I have met, including yourself, I believe that this is the right decision for me. Thank you again. I wish you all the best. Sincerely, Lucy Beck. Professors, like anyone else, like to be appreciated and like to know that their work did something meaningful. So definitely send a follow-up email if you are accepted to any of the schools you applied to transfer to. If you're interested in learning more about the transfer application process, check out the other videos on my channel. In addition, I am planning on releasing a new video talking about the transfer timeline, things like what are rolling admissions, does applying earlier increase my chances of getting accepted as a transfer applicant? When are decisions released? When is financial aid packages released? And also when are credit evaluations released? So definitely stay tuned and I'll see you later. Bye.